And here I go, launching Fort Funston. That cliff is about 18 stories above the beach below. As soon as I launched, I needed to turn right and get as close to the cliffs as my wings will allow, so that I can hit the band of lift and get higher and higher, as you can see from the altitude reading going up, up, up in the bottom right hand corner of the screen. This whole area above the cliff here has a bunch of rising air because of the wind that's coming primarily out of the west. When it hits the cliff, it has nowhere to go but up. So as long as I stay on that band of rising air, I also go up. Anytime you turn, you lose some altitude. But as soon as I start going straight again, up I go. I've decided this flight that I need to start getting into my harness completely. And every time I try, you can see me veering off course a little bit. Controlling this glider with one hand is harder than it may look. There goes my friend Marginal Mark. He told me to make sure that my camera was pointed behind me. I didn't know what he was going to do. But it looks like it might be fun. I turn right where I launched from. This is the best place to turn and gain some more altitude by going back north along those cliffs. Mark is obviously having some fun with me now, as I still try and get completely into my harness. Yeah, I got it better that time. It's so cool to fly around with your friends up here. There's nothing like it. Once again, I turn right here, near where I took off. It looks like Mark is following me. If you look in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, you can see my altitude going up again. These cliffs are amazing. Oh yeah, smile for the camera. long you can stay up here on one flight. That's really the purpose of this video, so that everyone can see. I'm not kidding. I stay up here for almost an hour every time I launch at Fort Funston. And I only come down because I want to. Here comes Mark again. Now he's always claimed that he has the fastest Falcon in the world because of some special ribs that he put on his glider. But he doesn't seem to be able to catch me. Which means maybe I have the fastest glider in the world. Sorry, Mark. But he's really trying to catch me right now. To no avail. Because I keep slipping further and further away. That's awesome. Better luck next time, Mark. Now I'm much higher this time, but I'm still going to turn right where I launched and head back along those cliffs to try and get more altitude. I've got it set in my mind that I really want to end up at the golf course. That's the Olympic Club, by the way, that I want to get to, which is just south of Fort Funston. But I want to make sure that I have enough altitude to get there. So I'm just going to work this cliff back and forth. And then when I'm ready and I feel like I'm high enough, that's when I'll head further south towards the golf course. Ooh, yeah, swimming. That's awesome. In case you couldn't tell, this air is a little bit smooth here at Fort Funston. Don't usually get cold, but I noticed that my hands are actually getting cold out here. By the end of the flight, they'll be numb. So next time, I think I'm going to bring gloves. I want to give a shout out to my mom, Terry Duncan, for hooking me up with this awesome shirt that I have on. It's keeping me very warm. Thanks, Mom. It's amazing how calm I am going back and forth along these cliffs, 254 feet in the sky. Absolutely amazing. So you can also see my altitude going down as I travel south, and when I travel north, it goes up again. And that's because the wind is coming from the northwest right now. Just a little bit. Because of that, as you go north, you climb. And when you go south, you descend just a little bit. Can you believe that I'm still up here? I almost feel like I'm cheating, floating like this, staring at all the ground and the ocean and the sand and the cliffs, just floating over it all like Superman, with no effort. Man, I wish I found this sooner in my life, I have to tell you. Here comes Mark. He thinks he might get me this time. Keep looking around for him, but I don't know exactly where he is. He might get me this time. Looks like he's living up to his claim as having the fastest glider in the world. He almost got me now. Oh, but I'm slipping away. Just looked up at the camera like, can you believe this guy? That's awesome. I look down and can see him, so I wave here. And this guy just won't quit. Mark's flying in areas that I'm not even comfortable flying in yet. He goes back over that area over there. There's rotors there as far as I know. I'm not trying to hit any of those. So I like to stay along the cliff. But one day I'm going to venture over there because it looks pretty cool. Here he comes again, man. I had no idea that he was doing all this until right now, looking at this film. Because most of the time, I didn't even know this guy was doing all that. Mark just landed. I decided to go out over the ocean here. Not too far over the ocean, but just enough so that I could look down and see nothing but water. It was cool. I did sink quite a bit out there, it looks like. So I need to get back to these cliffs and start to gain some altitude again. I've been told that anytime I want to lose altitude and camp on the cliffs, all I have to do is fly out over the ocean, and that's where you will experience a bunch of sink, which is good if you want to come down. Here you can also get some sink over the land, beyond the cliffs, but you have to watch out for rotors there. So sometimes the ocean is better. It looks like Marginal Mark is getting ready to take off again. He's approaching launch, so I think so. It's like meditating. So peaceful. So relaxing. So counterintuitive. Because I would never have thought that this would be peaceful. But it is. Really peaceful. I know for sure that my heart rate used to be much more elevated than it is now. It's almost like I'm laying on the couch. Looks like Mark just took off. That's a standard route when you take off here at Fort Funston, is to make that right and head along the cliffs. There he goes again. I'm gonna go catch that guy. Actually, I think he's gonna catch me. Alright, he's almost getting me. Almost getting me. Oh, it looks like I'm just barely getting away. Can't get me, man. It's because I got the fastest glider in the world. Oh yeah, make note. Man, he's almost got me now. But I got away again. almost get bored flying back and forth along these cliffs, which makes you wonder, what is wrong with me? I have to say, after flying a while with this pod harness zipped up, that this thing is really comfortable and warm. So I'm a big fan of the pod harness. It's actually surprising to me how easy it is to fly here at Fort Funston, where the wind is so smooth. I've been so used to flying at Ed Levin in the mountains, where the wind is punchy and the thermals are fierce, and they'll kick your ass. But here, the air is smooth and buttery. And so yes, it's surprising how easy it is here to fly. this move for marginal mark. I don't really know what it does, but it looks cool. Getting more confident. I'm even changing the way I turn. Trying to make the turns flatter so I lose less altitude. So much fun. Made it up to 300 feet again. 302, that's awesome. I just can't get much higher than that for some reason. Those of you who don't know, underneath all those cars in that parking lot over there is the base of Fort Funston, which is huge and underground. It's been there ever since World War II. The West Coast is full of those types of bases. Who the heck is this guy? Now this guy's after me like Mark. Can't everybody just leave the baby bird alone, man? I've just about had it with going back and forth along these cliffs, and I want to get to that golf course, and I want to do it now. So I'm going. I'm hoping I have enough altitude. Here I hit some sink. I'm losing altitude. I'm starting to get a little nervous. Hopefully I can get over to the cliffs by the golf course, and the wind can get me back up. But we'll have to see how it goes. I may end up having to land on the beach if this doesn't go well. Well, I made it to the golf course, and now I'm going up. I can hear the burial beeping. That's always good. You can see my altitude rising in the bottom right-hand corner again. So that's great. The Olympic Club. What a beautiful golf course, especially from way up here. As I fly along here, I see some golfers down there. I wonder if they can see me. Anyway, I'd rather be doing this than that, I'll tell you that much. But that's all good. I heard the Olympic Club's a great place to golf. I can tell you for sure it's a great place to fly. I think my membership dues are a bit less too. Always cool to be flying and see a bunch of cars driving by too. Man. Once again, I'd rather be doing this than that. Anyway, sometimes I really do feel that I'm so lucky to be able to do this. I try not to forget how blessed I am. So if you go here back and forth along the golf course, this is another spot where you can work lift and get higher and higher. And as I'm flying here, I look down about 50 feet below me is a hawk, just hanging out, doing what I'm doing. Gliding in the beautiful smooth air. That's always really magical when you're flying with the birds. Flying above the birds is even more magical. really starting to gain some altitude over here along the golf course. And that's exciting, because now that means I can go further south than I've ever gone before. I just need to get a little bit more altitude. So I feel like I have enough altitude here, and it's time for me to head towards the beach. Because I'm going to try and get to those lower cliffs and ride those cliffs south towards Pacifica. And as soon as I start to head from the golf course and those cliffs, I start to lose altitude. Not much altitude is being lost, but enough. So I decide to hang a left here and head south along those cliffs and see if maybe I can get some lifts from those lower cliffs. But I'm looking at my Vario, and it ain't happening. And I decide I don't want to land on this beach and have to walk all the way back and then up that trail. The only way I'm going to top land is if I turn around right now. So I start to head back towards those cliffs, the whole time losing altitude. I'm thinking, oh man, I better look for a good spot to land on the beach while I still can. Still losing altitude. So I decided here to pick up some speed and see if I could use that to end up over those cliffs and start to gain some altitude. Yes! I pretty much made it now. Yes, safety zone. And up I start to go again. I love these cliffs. Yeah, I pretty much made it now, man. Back up I go. Yeehaw! That's the greatest. Just saw Birdman right there. Gave him a wave. He seems like he's in a bad mood for some reason. I don't know how he could be. He's flying over that ocean. Man. So I decided to get out of my harness and unzip it right here. Still haven't figured out how to fly with one hand so well yet. Ah! Getting out of that was a lot easier than getting in, I'll tell you that much. Now that my legs are free and I'm confident about that, I put my legs back in until I'm absolutely ready to land. Right now I'm not sure if I have enough altitude to be able to top land, so I'm going to have to gain some more along these cliffs. Definitely want to land on top of these cliffs though. Just walking up that trail from the bottom of the beach is so difficult, especially with this glider. So I've been gaining a little altitude. I'm not sure, but it looks pretty good, so yeah, I'm gonna go for a top landing here. I think I'm high enough. Yeah, definitely high enough. I'm going for it. The trick here is that you're going with the wind here. So you gotta spin around and do a 180 to face the wind and put your nose into it. Once you do that, you stop moving pretty much and you hover. So you gotta pull in on the bars and bring yourself down. Keep the glider steady and balanced. Otherwise you can get ripped back there by those cars. Yes, I made it. Awesome. It's still not over yet. I gotta step on that control bar, get myself unhooked. You can see the wind still wants to take my glider for a ride, so I gotta prevent that. As I make my way to the breakdown area, I really have to make sure that this glider is balanced. Otherwise, it'll get ripped away from me. Never good. Anyway, that was my latest flight at Fort Funston. Thanks for watching.